Vice President JD Vance just set himself up for a tremendous mocking like the world has never seen before, believe me, with a stunt that features himself in some kind of Navy SEALs fantasy camp. Perhaps combat cosplay or dress-up Call of Duty would be better descriptions, but either way, I have all the cringeworthy details for you next. I'm Dan, and welcome to another Occupy Democrats Report. To get updates on all of the authoritarian, racist, and just plain dumb things that Vance and his mentor Donald Trump are guilty of, be sure and hit that subscribe button. Speaking of authoritarian and racist, let's begin this report with Morning Joe mocking Vance today for completely unrelated reasons, while reminding the world that Vance once compared Donald Trump to a certain leader of Nazi Germany.
By the way, you can add JD Vance to the list of people who are different before Donald Trump. And after Donald Trump.
I mean,
do that split screen.
Here's a guy that would come on our show, go on to every other show. He was like the East Coast media's like darling.
Talk about New York dinner party circuit.
Oh my God, New York dinner party circuits, and then again he'd go to all the Silicon Valley things in this little Silicon Valley. I like San Francisco. They're the smartest people in the world out here. I mean.
Now railing against the elite.
It is crazy. Yeah, this guy that like was a hedge funder and the elite, the darling of like elite media and the East Coast establishment now being, and again saying, maybe he's Hitler. I don't know.
Talking about Trump.
Saying Trump, And then saying if you're a Christian, like Jesus expects more of us than this. And then this is what I love. A guy, he didn't go to University of Alabama, so he can be excused for not being that smart. But a guy that went to the schools that he went to, saying, I said he might be Hitler because I was fooled by the media. Come on. Come on, seriously? We're supposed to believe you're too dumb? Like you listen to the media? Who, by the way, quote Donald Trump and show him day in and day out saying the words himself. And he says, I said all that stuff because the media fooled me. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that that's going to wash in 2028.
We'll see. It got him the vice presidency. We'll see if it gets him up to the next rung on the ladder.
And speaking of 2028, the propaganda machine is now giving this guy a makeover, so he looks like a so-called warfighter. A post to his X account said, Vice President Vance trains with U.S. Navy SEALs at Naval Amphibious Base Coronado. But the carefully crafted effort to give JD a testosterone booster shot crashed and burned. The Daily Beast called out the media performance with, Vance's Navy SEAL cosplay immediately backfires. The Vice President's beach workout with an elite unit drew jibes and questions about his priorities. And they shared the Christopher Hale post that said, it's the middle of the workday. While Americans are grinding to make Christmas work, the Vice President is burning taxpayer dollars pretending to be a Navy SEAL. And HuffPost described it this way, G.I. Jello. JD Vance's training session with Navy SEALs clobbered by critics. The Vice President's cosplay gave detractors a workout on social media. And they shared this Mike Nellis post that said, cool, man, but when you're done cosplaying, can you and your boss do something about housing and grocery prices? Thanks. And Chili Willy added, you should just keep running. And I don't mean for office. Pull a Forrest Gump and disappear. To close out this report, I want to remind everyone of two things about JD Vance. Just a few days ago at the Turning Point event, he said some very racist things. I think A, that's who he is, and B, it's a desperate attempt to mimic the Donald's teleprompter bigotry to rally the MAGA base as he leans into his 2028 run. And second, the guy's a complete Washington, D.C. swamp creature who thrives in the slime of intellectual dishonesty. And to that point, I never get tired of playing this clip that exposes him for the political phony he is.
That a former buddy of his has leaked some text messages that he sent in regard to Donald Trump dating back to 2016. The screenshot below is JD Vance's unfiltered explanation from 2016 of the breakdown in Republican politics that he now personally is trying to exploit. The America's Hitler bit is at the end. He wrote, but I'm not surprised by Trump's rise, and I think the entire party has only itself to blame. We are, whether we like it or not, the party of lower income, lower education white people. And I have been saying for a long time that we need to offer those people something, and hell, maybe even expand our appeal to working class black people in the process. Woo, wow, imagine that. He continues to say, or a demagogue would, we are now at that point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical person like a-hole like Nixon who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?